World Chronicles audience, and I had a good one for us today. I believe this is a good one. I feel like this is a great topic today. I'm actually excited about this one here. I'm gonna break out some mythology for you guys today. If this thing ever gets back where I can. I'm actually excited. Okay. There we go. I just had to mute that thing. It always comes back. Okay. So today I wanted to have a conversation, a discussion, and dialogue about these two goddesses that we see here. These two very, very different goddesses who are essentially the same being. We see over here, we see Sekhmet, right? Sekhmet, who's known as the lion goddess. And she's one of the most ferocious goddesses that you will ever see in anything. I don't care where you're at. There's nobody who is as gangsta as Sekhmet, right? She is as real as it gets. On the other hand, you see the goddess Hathor, who is the goddess of beauty and exudes love and power. And Hathor's the ultimate goddess that you want to worship, right? This is who you want to bring your offerings to. She represents the cow. She's all gentle. Sekhmet's going to tear your back out. Hathor is going to be nice to you. Okay, that's the fundamental difference between these two. But the mythology tells us that this started off as the same creature. Okay. So if you're not up on the mythology, I'm going to put you into the mythology of how Sekmet became Sekhmet. It's a great story. So as we know through the mythology, Atum Ra created, everything, the universe, all of it, creates all the other netters or deities, however you want to reference them. And ultimately, Atum Ra, per some mythology, takes on a human form and becomes the first pharaoh, right? That's his role. He's the first pharaoh. And Atum Ra, of course, is a great pharaoh, but he is in a human form on earth. And of course, from this, we get all the mythology about all the coming pharaohs who said they were all, descendants from him. That's how that whole thing started. So Atum Ra sits on the throne as the pharaoh. He does this for, a long lifetime. And over time, he starts to give in to mortal failings. In a sense, he's becoming old. And the word out is that people aren't really respecting the rule of Ra as they once did when he was a younger pharaoh. And he feels this. And he gets very upset with the people. And he's like, they're breaking the laws. Initially, when I made you guys, everyone was so moral, and you guys did everything that I asked you to do. You obeyed all my laws, and it was good. Now that I'm old, you guys aren't respecting my laws anymore. This is what Atum Ra, this is what Ra, who lives on Earth, is saying at this point in time. People are not respecting his laws. So he says, okay, I got something for that. Right? I have the perfect thing for all your disrespect. So what he does is he goes into his bag of tricks, however he creates his divinities, and he brings forth Sekhmet, who we have over here. And we can see Sekhmet is she's got the lion head, obviously very upset, always showing her teeth. I think that's something like if a real lion is always showing his teeth to you, there's probably some problem there. And that's what Sekhmet is telling you here. This is a problem. The way that they made Sekhmet was she had no conscience. She has no compassion. She had nothing. She was created as a killing machine. Even though it looks like she's got, outside of the lion head, female body, very curvy by the way, but always has her weapons ready. Not only is she just carrying weapons, her weapons are out and at the ready at all times. Because essentially that's who Sekhmet is. She is ready to set it off all the time. So Ra says, okay, I make Sekhmet. He creates Sekhmet and looks at her and he says, I want you to go out and, punish mankind because they're not respecting my authority. And he gives her carte blanche to go out and start killing people, which she eagerly does. What we find out about Sekhmet is that her favorite food or beverage is human blood. That's how much so instead of giving her compassion, he gave her bloodlust. And instead of having emotions, he gave her rage. So this is what you got, this raging, angry thing who doesn't know love, who's been told to kill and actually enjoys it and feeds off of it. And she starts sweeping out through the land, just killing everyone in sight. No man, no woman is safe from the wrath of Sekhmet. This is who she is. And she's reveling in this. And just, people start to form together, to form battalions to try to fight her off. Men and women and various tribes of people all banding together to fight off extinction at the hands of this ferocious creature known as Sekhmet. And the word of Sekhmet has spread all throughout the land. Everybody knows about Sekhmet, and this is clearly a problem. So Ra sits up and says, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see everyone to start respecting the laws again and come together as a good civilization. They had to unite to try and stop Sekhmet, and they never stop her. Every place that she goes and they rise up against her, they still lose. She kills all of them. I mean, she beheads them, she dismembers them, she drinks their blood because this is what she craves, how Ra had created her. So Ra, who is still infinitely wise, understands that in his non-physical form, he wasn't beset by failings such as his human body gives him. And that's a part of him being an older, showing his frailty as a pharaoh. So he calls Sekhmet back and he says, okay, Sekhmet, by the way, you did a great job. You did a tremendous job going out there and representing for me, and I definitely appreciate it. And you went out, you killed. I asked you to go out there and kill and just light people up, and you did it. I mean, I got to give it up to you. We never had anyone down here hold that position, and you exceeded all of our expectations. Well, we want to thank you for your service, but we don't need you to kill anymore. Okay, it's good. So Sekhmet, and you can imagine, look at that look on her face. Look at either one of those images, and tell me which one you want to have that conversation with about how she needs to stop killing people. I'll wait for you to tell me which Sekhmet image do you think is more receptive to what you have to say. And keep it in mind, she's always got her weapons in hand while you're having this conversation with her. As she had this conversation with the Pharaoh who was Ra. And Ra tells her to stop, and she looks at him like she's looking at us there, and she basically is like, nah, I'm not gonna, no, nope. Literally. This is a goddess, and she's talking to Ra. She's like, whatever. You're in immortal form right now, too, Ra. Right? You're in immortal form, which means, you know what? I can get you too. That was ultimately the message that she puts out back to Ra. I can get you too. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back out here and start killing because I like the taste of it. It's good. It's the way you made me. So Ra realizes that he's got a problem. So he gets all the other Netters together. It's just like, hey, look, you thought Jehudi, come on, whatever you're writing now, and that can wait, okay? Jehudi, Asar, I'm getting everybody smart. Aset, we need some magic. He's getting everybody together because this is a major problem that he created here. He says, okay, so I made her invincible. You can hit her with any weapon; it's not gonna kill her. She's insatiable. She will not stop killing. She likes it too much. This is fun for her. What are we gonna do? So the deities all get together and they come up with the plan that there is a very specific dye that they find that is blood red, and they take it and they mix this and they mix this with an ale. Now Sekhmet, having been created the way that she was, really knew nothing about the world at all. So Sekhmet didn't know what beer was. She didn't know getting drunk. She didn't know any of this stuff. She didn't know any joy. She was just made to kill. She was the original Terminator. So what the gods do, and this takes days. It takes days to get this dye. She's still out killing people. It takes days to get together all the ale that they need. She's still just slaughtering people and drinking blood. She's going crazy with it. It's like a free-for-all. It's like an open buffet, and she's just having at it. I mean, just how she maintains her form. How did you eat that many people and still look like that? Okay. So it takes all this time, but they mix together 7,000 jars of beer. 7,000 jars of beer. They put this red dye in it, and they take this beer and they set it up at the temple outside of Heliopolis. This is the place she has not been here yet, so they're anticipating her arrival. And everyone's in hiding because they know Sekhmet's on her way. This is going to be bad. So she gets there and she comes to the temple and she sees 7,000 jars of what she thinks is blood. So she just assumes that everybody heard about her, so they feared her, so they just made all this sacrifice for her. She's still going to kill him, but I'm going to go ahead and drink these 7,000 jars of blood anyway, because why not? So she starts drinking, the 7,000 jars of blood, which is actually beer. And after a few, 1,000, a couple, however many, she finally gets really, really drunk. And Ra comes down to earth now, and he's like, now I can deal with you. And he says, my beloved. And all she can do, she's so drunk, all she can do is smile and feel enthusiasm. She's happy. And she's never felt this way before. And he looks at her and he says, would you rather stay this way? Or would you rather go back to being a raging monster who only was satiated by drinking blood? You've done enough. And although she can't talk, she is totally out there off of beer. There's almost 7,000 jars of beer. I mean, you would be too. She's handling it pretty well, by the way. And he senses that she would rather be a creature of compassion and love, who people embraced and wanted to see. So taking his power as the creator of the cosmos, he transforms Sekhmet from this horrific murdering machine who dismembered and ate people, and he transforms her into the deity that we will become to embrace and revere as Hathor, who is associated with the sacred cow, who is thought of as a deity of love, infinite compassion. This is who Hathor is. Infinite love, infinite compassion, infinite beauty. This is what Hathor the goddess was. Remember, she helped nurse Heru when he was hiding out in the thickets because Set was still running around acting crazy. She always helps people in need, and if you make your offerings to Hathor, she will always bring those gifts back to you. And that's how we get two of the most significant figures in Kemetic philosophy. And before we talk about Ra unleashing Sekhmet on the world, let's remember that lots of deities tried to kill specifically humans off the earth. If I remember correctly, Enlil tried to drown us all because we were making too much noise. So for all you Sumerian worshippers, there's that. He tried to kill you all because you were making too much noise. But what we get from this is a story of a powerful, vengeful deity who transforms after serving her purpose for her creator and becomes a loving, beautiful deity that we can all worship now. So that is the myth of Sekhmet to Hathor. It's a tale of two goddesses who come from one, completely different representations, and over time this deity would morph into one of the most beloved, most well-known, and most powerful of the Egyptian, the Kemetic, or later Egyptian pantheon. So thank you guys again for stepping into Nine World Chronicles with me as we have a little bit of mythology hour, just kind of sitting up here talking about myths and enjoying ourselves. So as always, please leave your input in the comments below. And we ask, as always, like and subscribe, and please go and check out some of our other videos if you dig mythology like this.